everyone, welcome back. So in this video we are going to be discussing about methods of plant breeding for crop improvement. Okay, so how the crop can be improved using the plant breeding methods, that only we are going to be discussing today. So what is the reason for doing this? Why should the crop be improved? Again, for getting a high yield, for getting an improved quality, for those reasons only we are going to be going in for these methods. So there are 5 methods of crop improvement which are there in plant breeding. So now let's see what are the 5 methods. The first one is introduction of new variety of plant. So introduction of a new variety of plant is the first method. Then the second method is selection. Then the third method is hybridization. Fourth is polyploidy breeding. And the last one is mutation breeding. So now let's take a look at each of these in detail. So first let's discuss about what is introduction of a new variety. So we can introduce a plant from one place to another. Okay, so we can take a new variety of plant from some other place and we can introduce onto a different place. That is only known as introduction of a new variety of plant. And the variety of plant which is going to be transferred like that is known as the exotic species. Okay, so it's known as the exotic species. Okay, and then actually one very important thing that we need to consider here is when an exotic species is brought from some other country, we cannot directly introduce into the fields. So before that it has to be kept in a plant quarantine. Okay, so by now the entire world knows what is the meaning of the quarantine. So plant quarantine is the place where the exotic species before introducing in the field is supposed to be isolated for few days. Okay, so when it is kept in isolation in the plant quarantine, what is going to be checked is the exotic species will be checked for if there is any pathogen or if there is any pest which is there in that plant. Okay, they have to check for two things. One is whether there is some pathogen, if there is any disease causing microorganism. Then the second thing is they have to check if there is any pest which is present in the plant. Okay, because we are going to be bringing it from some other part. So it becomes dangerous to the fields which we are going to be introducing. Alright, so in order to overcome this, the exotic species before introduction into the fields are supposed to be kept in a plant quarantine and it must be tested if there is any pathogen and if there is any pest. If it is not there, if the exotic species is free from all that, then it can be introduced into the fields. Okay, so I will give you one example. So the example is Phaseolus mungo. So what is this Phaseolus mungo? Phaseolus mungo is actually black gram. Black gram was an exotic species which was brought in from China. Okay, so it was brought from China and then it was introduced in India. So that is introduction of a new variety. Now moving on to the next one, which is selection. Okay, so selection we need to understand in detail. So there are 3 methods of selection. Okay, so you know what is the meaning of selection. There is no specific meaning to this. So it's a normal meaning which all of you know. Selection means to select something. Okay, so there are 3 methods of selection. The first one is mass selection. Then the next one is pure line selection. And then the third one is clonal selection. So these 3 are the different methods of selection. So here a particular plant is going to be selected based on what? Based on the morphological characters. Okay, so from a population of the plants, a specific plant is going to be chosen based on their morphological characters. Morphological characters means based on its appearance. Okay, so just by looking you will know which plant is good and healthy and which plant is not such. Okay, so in selection, what is basically going to be done? From a mixed population of plants, specific plants are going to be selected based on what? Based on their morphological characters, that is their appearance. Okay, so first let's discuss about what is mass selection. So in mass selection, again, a mixed population is going to be taken. Okay, a mixed population, let's consider a mixed population of seeds are going to be taken. So there are going to be many seeds. I am just depicting the seeds in different shapes. Okay, so there are going to be many seeds. Okay, so from all these seeds, it's a mixed population. Actually, I have depicted one seed in triangle, one seed square and the other one round. So it's a mixed population of seeds. Okay, so but all the seeds which are here are not the same. There are three different types of seeds which are there in this. So from these three different types of seeds, one particular seed is going to be chosen. For example, let's consider I am choosing these seeds which are round, because according to me I find that is much better, that's going to have the desired characters which I expect. So these seeds are chosen. Okay, from all these mixed population, one type of seeds are going to be chosen, and those seeds are going to be continuously bred for up to 7 to 8 generations. Okay, it's going to be bred for 7 to 8 generations. By doing that, what we will be obtaining is, we will be getting many seeds which we expect. Okay, then later on what can be done is, these seeds can be distributed to the farmers for cultivation. Okay, so this is mass selection. From a mixed population, the desired seeds are going to be collected and then it is going to be bred for up to 7 to 8 generations, so that we will get many number of seeds, and from these seeds it can be distributed to the farmers so that they can cultivate it. Okay, so this is mass selection. Now next let's discuss what is pure line selection. So pure line selection, for this a superior organism has to be chosen first. Okay, so pure line selection is very important, so please listen. So in pure line selection, what is going to be happening is, a superior organism is going to be chosen. A superior plant is going to be chosen. So after choosing that superior plant, from that plant it's going to be self-pollinated and many generations of plants are going to be produced from that one superior organism. Okay, so how long this is going to be continuing means, till a progeny is going to be established which is going to be only from that one superior organism. Okay, so for pure line selection, a superior organism is going to be selected. Okay, I am choosing this one superior organism. It could be having the desired characters which the person is expecting. So from that superior organism is going to be self-pollinated and many progeny is going to be produced from that. So many progeny is going to be produced from that, and all the progeny which are going to be coming from this superior organism will be having the quality of the superior character. The superior character is going to be there in all the progeny. Okay, so how long? For we have to breed it for generations and generations till a progeny of this desired superior organism is going to be established. Okay, so the process of breeding it will continue till the progeny of only this superior organism character is established. Okay, so that is only known as pure line selection. Okay, so I will repeat one last time. In pure line selection, a superior organism is chosen and that superior organism is going to be bred several times. It's going to be self-pollinated several times till all the progeny are produced from the superior organism will be having the desired characters like that of this parent. Okay, so that is the idea behind doing this. and then all the progeny will be similar both genotypically as well as phenotypically to that of the superior organism, which means it is going to be same in its appearance as well as its genetic constitution. Okay, so this is about pure line selection. Then next let's move on to what is clonal selection. So in clonal selection, if you see, you know what is the meaning of the word clonal. Okay, the word clonal means to be producing clones. So who are clones? Clones are identical copies of the parent. Okay, so for clonal selection, what has to be done is a plant has to be chosen, and that plant must either be vegetatively reproducing or it must be asexually reproducing. Okay, so you know, I hope you know what is asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, only one parent's involvement will be there, and from that one parent itself a new progeny can be obtained. Progeny means an offspring. Okay, here it is the new plant. Okay, so for how are the clones going to be created? So here for clonal selection, a plant is going to be chosen, and that plant is going to be reproducing vegetatively or by asexual method, giving rise to a lot of clones. So these clones are also going to be genotypically as well as phenotypically similar to that of the parent plant. Okay, so it will be exactly same to that of the parent plant, both genetic constitution wise as well as the physical appearance wise. So here in clonal selection, if you see, from the selected plant, a lot of clones are created, which is a method of crop improvement. Okay, so I hope you understood whatever we have discussed in selection. Now let's move on to discuss about the next one, which is the polyploidy breeding. I'm not going in an exact order. Okay, so I'm just randomly doing it. Then the next one is polyploidy breeding. So what is polyploidy breeding? So what is polyploid breeding or what is polyploidy? So when we talk about organisms are going to be having two complete set of chromosomes, which is 2n. They are going to be having two sets of chromosomes, which is 2n. Okay, and then when we talk about the gametes, so what is the meaning of gametes? Gametes are the reproductive cells. So when we talk about the reproductive cells, reproductive cell is going to be having one complete set of chromosome, which is denoted as N. Okay, N means haploid, 2N means diploid. Okay, 2N means diploid, N means haploid. Okay, so here if you see, first thing that I told was organisms are going to be having two complete sets of chromosome, that's known as diploid, and then gametes are going to be having only one set of chromosome, and that is known as haploid. Okay, now what is this polyploid? Polyploid means an organism is going to be having more than two sets of chromosomes. If it is going to be having more than two sets of chromosome, it is considered to be a polyploid. Okay, so using plant breeding technique, polyploid plants can also be created. Okay, so now let's see what are the plants which are created using polyploidy breeding. So before that, how can polyploidy be induced? So there are many agents which induce polyploidy. So some of the agents are heat, cold, temperature. These are all the physical agents which induce polyploidy, and then the chemical agents which induce are colchicine. Colchicine is a very effective chemical which induces polyploidy. Okay, so now let's move on to discuss about the examples of plants which are produced using polyploidy breeding. Okay, so the first one is seedless watermelon and seedless bananas. So seedless watermelon and seedless bananas both are tetraploids. Tetraploid means it is going to be having three complete set of chromosomes, and both are seedless fruits. Okay, so using polyploidy breeding, seedless banana and seedless watermelon can be produced. Then the next example is triticale. So what is triticale? Triticale is the first man-made cereal. Okay, it's the first man-made cereal, and this triticale is actually hexaploid. So hexaploid means it is going to be having 6 sets of chromosomes. Okay, it's a hexaploid. So what is the speciality of this triticale? So triticale has got a very rich, it's actually a very rich source of protein as well as dietary fibers. So triticale is a very rich source of protein and dietary fibers. Now moving on to the third example. The third example is TV29. So what is this TV29? TV29 is a tea variety of plant. It's a tea variety and it is drought resistant. Okay, it's drought resistance, which means it will be able to grow even in drought land where not much of water is needed. Okay, then the next one is Raphanobrassica. So what is this Raphanobrassica? So already I told you in the previous video, Brassica means mustard, but don't get confused with that here. Here Brassica is different. Okay. So Raphanobrassica is a hybrid which is produced by crossing radish and cabbage. So it's a hybrid from radish and cabbage. So that is only known as Raphanobrassica. So this Raphanobrassica is an allotetraploid. Tetraploid means it is going to be having 4 sets of chromosomes. Okay. So this is only Raphanobrassica. It's a allotetraploid. So these are some of the crop improved varieties of plants which have been produced using polyploidy breeding technique. I hope you understood this. Now let's move on to the last one. So now let's move on to the next one, which is mutation breeding. So this is the fourth method we are studying. It's known as the mutation breeding. So what is mutation? So mutation is a sudden heritable change. Okay, so mutation is a sudden heritable change that happens in the sequence of nucleotides which is present in the DNA. Okay, so it's a sudden heritable change. So what is the meaning of heritable change? Heritable change means the change which has happened in that plant is going to be transferred generation after generation. So from that plant, a plant which has undergone mutation, when it is reproducing and when a new progeny is created from that, that progeny also will be having the change which has happened in the parent plant. Okay, so mutation breeding is a, what is mutation? Mutation is a sudden heritable change that happens in the sequence of the nucleotides of the DNA. Okay, and the plants which are going to be produced using mutation, which are undergoing mutation. Okay, so the plants which undergo mutation are known as mutants. And then the agents which induce mutation are called mutagenic agents. Okay, are known as the mutagenic agents. So there are two types of mutagenic agents. One is physical mutagen and the other one is chemical mutagen. Okay, so there are two mutagens, physical and chemical. So physical mutagens are basically radiation. Okay, like alpha rays, beta rays, gamma rays, and then we have the UV rays. Okay, so radiations are going to be potential mutagens. Then when we talk about chemical mutagen, mustard gas and nitrous acid are potential mutagens. So in mutation breeding, the plants are going to be bred by using some of these inducing agents. So now we are going to be discussing about achievements of mutation breeding. So how using mutation different crop varieties were produced, that only we are going to be discussing right now. So the first one is Sharbati sonora. So what is this Sharbati Sonora? Sharbati Sonora is a wheat variety. Okay. So it's a high yielding wheat variety. This was also produced by Dr. M.S. Swaminathan and his team. Okay. So it's a high yielding wheat variety which was produced using mutation breeding. Then the next one is Automata 2 rice. This Automata 2 rice is the rice variety and this is saline tolerance. That means this particular variety of rice is going to be tolerant to salt water. Okay. Then the third one is using mutation breeding, groundnuts can be produced with thick shells. Okay. So it's a very protective coat, right? So that nothing happens to the seeds which are there inside. So for that, groundnuts are produced with thick shell. So when we talk about wheat and this Automata 2 rice, so when we talk about wheat and Automata 2 rice, both were created using the gamma rays. Okay, so they were created using the gamma rays. So this is about mutation breeding. Now let's move on to the last method of crop improvement by plant breeding, and that is hybridization. So what is hybridization? Hybridization is the process of producing hybrids. It's as simple as that. Okay, hybrids are going to be produced. Now, how the hybrids are going to be produced? The hybrids are going to be produced by making a cross between two superior plants. Okay, so two superior plants with the desired characters are going to be taken. And from that, when those two plants are coming together, when those two superior plants are joining together, and when they produce the offspring which is known as the hybrid is also going to be having the superior quality. Okay, it's going to be having the characters from both the plants. So that is the ideology behind that. So for hybridization, hybrids are going to be produced. How are the hybrids going to be produced? It is going to be produced by crossing two superior plants. Okay. So the example that we are going to be studying today is triticale. So I already told you what is triticale. Triticale is the first man-made cereal, and it was actually produced by hybridization. Already we have discussed also in polyploidy breeding, so I will tell you why. Okay, so triticale is produced by crossing wheat and rye. It was produced by crossing wheat and rye. So the scientific name of wheat that was used was Triticum durum, and then rye, the scientific name was Triticale cereal. Okay, so Triticum durum and Sickle cereal were the two plant varieties which were used in order to be producing the hybrid triticale. Okay, so wheat had 28 chromosomes and rye had 14 chromosomes. Okay, and when wheat and rye was crossed, it gave rise to a hybrid with 21 chromosome, and this was actually sterile. Sterile means this particular plant cannot reproduce further in order to be producing new plants. Okay, so this was sterile. But we don't want this triticale to be sterile. Instead, we want it to be fertile. So if it is fertile, from this triticale, many new triticales can be obtained. Okay, so for that, what was done was, the chromosome number of this hybrid was doubled. So how was the chromosome number doubled? The chromosome number was doubled using Colchicine. Okay. So when the chromosome number doubled, it gave rise to triticale, which had 42 chromosomes. Okay, and this triticale was fertile, and this is hexaploid. Hexaploid means it has 6 complete set of chromosome. And how is it having that 6 complete set of chromosome? It is because of colchicine. Once colchicine was added, the chromosome number doubles. It's a very important objective type question. Okay. So chromosome number is doubled using colchicine. Okay. So we will go through this once again. So using hybridization technique, triticale was produced. Triticale was the first man-made cereal, and then it is a very rich source of dietary fibers as well as proteins. So it was crossed, the hybrid triticale was produced by crossing wheat and rye. Wheat had 28 chromosomes and rye had 14 chromosomes. When they crossed, it gave rise to a hybrid with only 21 chromosome, and this was sterile. So we don't want a sterile triticale. So what happened was the chromosome number was doubled using the chemical substance colchicine. Okay, you know that colchicine induces polyploidy, right? So colchicine was used in order to double up the number of the chromosomes, and then triticale was produced with the total of with 42 chromosomes, which was fertile. Okay, and triticale is a very rich source of dietary fibers as well as proteins. So these are the 5 different methods of crop improvement using plant breeding technique. So I hope you understood whatever we have discussed in this video. Thank you so much for watching.